There was a man named Elkanah who lived in the hill country of Ephraim. He had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none. Every year, when the family went to worship at the temple in Shiloh, Peninnah would taunt Hannah. Although Elkanah loved Hannah more and gave her a double portion, this only provoked Peninnah's jealousy further. Hannah, deeply distressed, wept bitterly and prayed in the temple, "O Lord of hosts, do not forget me. If you give me a son, I will dedicate him to you for his entire life." At first, the priest Eli thought Hannah was drunk and rebuked her, but after hearing her explanation, he blessed her, saying, "Go in peace. May the God of Israel grant your petition." God remembered Hannah, and she gave birth to Samuel. After the child was weaned, Hannah, true to her promise, brought young Samuel to the temple to serve God. This passage shows us the power of faith and prayer that doesn't give up even in the midst of hardship, and God's faithfulness. After giving birth to Samuel, Hannah sang a song of praise to God, overflowing with joy. As promised, she brought young Samuel to the sanctuary in Shiloh to dedicate him to God. However, Eli's 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, were different. They stole offerings and took advantage of women who came to the sanctuary. Eli knew of his sons' actions, but failed to rebuke them properly. Meanwhile, young Samuel grew up in the sanctuary, beloved by both God and people. Hannah made a new robe for Samuel each year when she visited the temple, and Eli blessed Hannah and Elkanah to have more children. One day, a man of God came to Eli and prophesied judgment on his family. He said Eli's 2 sons would die, and God would raise up a new faithful priest. This passage contrasts Samuel's obedience to God with the disobedience of Eli's sons, teaching us about God's righteousness and how he exalts those who fear him. One night, Eli was lying down in his place, and Samuel was sleeping in the temple. Suddenly, God called Samuel. Samuel thought Eli was calling him and ran to him, but Eli said he hadn't called. This happened 3 times. When Samuel came running the 3rd time, Eli realized it was God calling. He instructed Samuel to lie down again, and if he heard the voice, to respond, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." God called Samuel again, and Samuel responded as Eli had taught him. Then God spoke about the judgment that would come upon Eli's house. The next morning, Samuel was hesitant to speak, but at Eli's insistence, he told him everything. Eli humbly accepted it. After this event, Samuel grew and became a faithful prophet of God, and none of his words fell to the ground. A war broke out between Israel and the Philistines. In the first battle, Israel lost 4,000 soldiers and was defeated. Discouraged, the elders of Israel decided to bring the Ark of the Covenant to the battlefield, believing it would bring them victory. When the 2 sons of the priest Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, arrived at the camp with the Ark, the Israelite army shouted with joy. Despite this, the Philistines once again emerged victorious, and this time, 30,000 Israelite soldiers were killed. Moreover, the Ark of God was captured, and Eli's 2 sons were slain. Upon hearing this tragic news, the 98-year-old priest Eli fell backward from his chair, broke his neck, and died. Eli's daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, went into premature labor upon hearing the news and gave birth to a son but died shortly afterward. Before her death, she named her son Ichabod, meaning the glory has departed. This tragic event left a deep scar on Israel and demonstrated that God's judgment had fallen upon them. The Philistines captured the Ark of God and brought it to Ashdod, placing it in the temple of their god, Dagon. However, the next morning, the statue of Dagon was found fallen face down before the Ark. Though they set Dagon back in his place, the following morning, they found Dagon's head and hands cut off, lying on the threshold. Moreover, a plague struck Ashdod and the surrounding areas. The people were afflicted with tumors, and swarms of rats overran the towns. The people of Ashdod believed that the God of Israel was punishing them. In response, they moved the Ark to Gath, but the same calamities occurred there. When they sent the Ark to Ekron, the people of Ekron were also stricken with terror. Finally, the rulers of the 5 Philistine cities convened and decided to return the Ark to Israel. They had come to realize that the God of Israel was stronger than both them and their god Dagon. This story demonstrates God's power and his superiority over pagan gods. The Philistines ultimately had no choice but to submit to God's might. The Philistines suffered for 7 months due to the Ark of God. They sought advice from their priests and diviners, who counseled them to return the ark along with a guilt offering. They made a new cart and hitched 2 milk cows to it, separating them from their calves. On the cart, they placed the ark along with a box containing gold models of tumors and rats as their guilt offering for the plagues they had endured. Despite being separated from their calves and never having been yoked, the cows headed straight for Beth Shemesh in Israel. The Philistine rulers following behind could not deny that these plagues had come from God. The people of Beth Shemesh rejoiced at the ark's arrival and offered the cows as a burnt offering on the spot. However, some of the Beth Shemesh people looked inside the ark and were struck dead by God as punishment. Frightened by this, the people of Beth Shemesh moved the ark to Kiriath Jearim. This story teaches us about God's sovereignty and the importance of wisdom in discerning His will. 20 years passed after the ark was placed in Kiriath Jearim. During this time, the people of Israel mourned and longed for the Lord. Samuel urged the people to return wholeheartedly to God. He told them to remove all idols and serve only the Lord. The people obeyed and got rid of their idols. Samuel gathered all of Israel at Mizpah and prayed for them. The people fasted there and confessed their sins. When the Philistines heard of this gathering, they came to attack Israel. The Israelites were afraid, but Samuel continued to cry out to God. The Lord thundered with a mighty sound against the Philistines, throwing them into confusion, and Israel defeated them. Samuel set up a stone called Ebenezer to commemorate this victory. It means that God has helped this far. During Samuel's lifetime, the Philistines did not invade Israel again, and Israel reclaimed the towns they had lost.